I have an excuse for bad driving. Yay!
Why? Why is that so difficult?
I have no idea.
And then it's going to take me another like 20 minutes when we finish this. It's going to take me like 20 minutes to figure out how to save it so that we can post it on our Instagram. I mean, it's fine. How are you?
I'm fine. It's Saturday.
I know you're excited. I should be off work today, but I'm not. I actually have to go to work after this. But it is Saturday. For the rest of the world, not hairdressers.
For most of us. So how are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a pretty good morning, and I only have 2 clients, so it's going to be a short day, and I'm okay with that. And then I'm off tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
what have you been doing today?
Absolutely nothing. I tried to sleep in, which didn't work. Then I bothered my husband. Then we got up, got some breakfast. We played some PlayStation. I was not good.
Did he get the new thing? Paul got some sort of like new download thing this yesterday. It's like a sports thing. Paul's been bowling.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't think it's Wii Sport. It's a different like Nintendo Sport thing.
Oh, okay. No, we were really on the PlayStation. We were car racing, which is not even close to Mario Kart, so I don't know how to do it at all. But it was fun. It was fun, but my small hands cannot grab the controller, so I'm like slipping off. And my driving, I have an excuse for bad driving.
Small hands? That's amazing. Well, thanks.
Yeah, but that's our day.
Right. Thanks so much for hanging out. And I guess we should say hello to all of our viewers and say what we're doing here.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
We are wrapping up Wellness Month. For those of you who have joined us for the whole ding ding month of April, it was Wellness Month because we're kind of doing some hot topics as a theme of the month. And so it's the end of April, and I guess we should kind of wrap up our theme month. But I don't know how you really feel about talking about it. You said that it wasn't the easiest month for you, and I understand. It's totally not easy for me either. But I felt like it went okay.
For you, yeah. I don't know. I was in the beginning when we talked about the topics, which is like a few months ago. I was ready. I was like, I have so much to talk about. Came April, well, maybe March, because I started filming in March, of course. I was completely out of, well, not out of ideas, but I started feeling uncomfortable. And I started questioning, what can I talk about? Do I really want to talk about what I thought I wanted to talk about? It was a very weird process. I remembering us sending voice memos back and forth. I don't know. Maybe we should have inserted that somewhere.
Right. Like I did with the on the food month videos.
Yeah.
I inserted our clip of messages back and forth, which I thought ingenious. But you know, when I look back at the month, one of the videos that I posted with my friend Heather Marcus, where I shared a little bit with her about you and I, like kind of, you know, roller coastering with the idea of how much we do want to share. She immediately volunteered. I don't know if you caught it at the end of her video where she was like, it's a trauma. any kind of health crisis, whether it's a mental health or physical health, it can be perceived in your brain as a trauma. And so
Absolutely.
there's a couple of different tactics, though. Either you don't talk about it or you talk about it. And it's funny because I didn't really get from her what the end all idea is. For me, getting it all out of my head seems better, but I know you were a little bit cautious and you had a little bit more of that trauma response. And I'm wondering if it is because it's in the past for you, not completely, but a couple of those moments of crises are a little bit in the past and mine is still going. And I'm wondering if that's why I was more comfortable to just like vomit it out.
I think for me, I will always say, never has anything bad ever happened to me. I was never in a car crash. I never lost any limbs. I never lost any of my senses. I have never lost a loved one that was not already old or very sick. I have nothing really bad in my life where I say I had a bad experience. I've been through things, things that people say you need to talk about that. I talked to a psychiatrist once. He said, this is not true for everyone. There are people that need to talk about it, to go through it, to work through it, to heal. He said, this is not for everyone. And I said, it's not for me because it is in the past. Yes, it has happened. It has hurt me, but it is in the past. I am still here. I have lived through what was the worst then, and I'm still here. So I don't know. So for me, talking through it or healing through talking is not existent. And yes, I do have traumatic responses due to the hospital and the surgeries, but I think that's pretty normal. Everyone who had surgeries probably has some sort of trauma.
Yeah.
But I remember we talked about like how would my mom react to my health video, and all she said was, "Oh, that was very personal," and I was like, "Not even close." I mean, I shared some things, but what I was really thinking and feeling in the moment or during the video, I have never shared. This is still very deep within me, and I don't think I've shared it with even my husband, which is totally fine because it doesn't make me. It has happened to me, it is in the past, and that's it. And my mom saying, oh, this was so personal. And I was like, no, it was difficult, but not personal.
But see,
or too personal.
this right here though should have been one of your videos because it's so helpful for you to say the past is the past. I see so many people continuing to live in a place that they no longer exist. And I think some people get stuck and they keep reopening and reliving those past experiences. And so I'm wondering then if your journey was specifically not about anything that happened to you. Your journey is, how do you live presently? How do you bring your mind into today and say, I'm living today. Each day is brand new, and each day I have a choice. And so that's the importance of your journey, is to stay focused on right now. I've heard a quote saying, if you live in the past, you'll always be depressed. And if you live in the future, you'll always be anxious.
Yeah. I mean, I have two things that always come to mind. One is my dad, really very early on, telling me about something like stirring the pot. You have a topic, let's say in a pot, and you put, what is it? What do you put on top?
A lid? Like a lid?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you have something that happened to you in a pot and you put a lid on and you put it away. Or you go ahead and you stir the pot. So then what has maybe already sunken down will be brought back to surface, and you will go through it and through it and through it again. There was even an article he shared with me where this phrase came from. And I think about that and I think, yeah, this is absolutely true. I gain nothing from that. Nothing. So I put the lid on top and I put the pot away. This is one. The second, Star Trek.
Yes, tell me.
But there is one scene where there are like so-called wormhole aliens and they have no concept of time. They live outside a timeline. So they meet this Captain Sisko and he tries to explain to them how time works or how we perceive it as linear. And they walk through his memories trying to understand him. And they always end up at the moment where he lost his wife. And he says, why are you bringing me back here? And they tell him, but you live here.
Oh.
And this sentence, may it be Star Trek and science fiction or whatever, but this sentence, you live here. And then they say, you exist here. This really struck something with me. And when I find myself thinking about, oh my God, I have been through, no, I don't live there anymore. I live here now. This is where I live. This helped these two things. They get me out of it.
That exact thing is so important to communicate to a lot of people. That would be helpful for a lot of people to hear. You know, I also have not always lived in the past, but I do have people in my life. You know, I get the privilege to see a lot of women. I filter through a lot of women in the truth chair, you know, and so many people get anchored with an identity of maybe a victim or a trauma or a moment of time that they feel like they can't let go of. And I watch it and I don't know how to bring them up to the present. I don't know how to help them. I don't know what makes one person like you push to exist today in your mindset versus another one stuck, like just spinning that loop.
I don't either.
I was looking up different grounding ideas, and you and I just briefly touched on that to identify when you do feel like you're hyper focused on a past memory or anxious about the future. I come back to like the five senses. And my primary sense, I think, is my eyes, because I can lift my head and look up and be like, okay, grateful for this house, grateful for this big magnolia tree that I can see out my window, grateful for the things that I can see and have. I'm grateful for my water. Like I can look around with my eyes and start grounding. And I think that doing your five senses in that way, what can you hear? What can you smell? What can you touch? What can you eat? Like drinking a whole fresh glass of water, and just that brings me into the present.
Yeah. Water always helps. Always. Even if you take a shower or if you drink it, it will always help.
I actually talked to a client about showering. I know that sounds so weird, but we talked so in depth about the sensation of the water over you is so nurturing and calming.
And it changes your energy. If you're in a bad mood or you feel down or whatever, you should take a shower because it cleanses your energy.
I love that.
It sounds very spiritual or something, I don't know, but it is what it is. It helps.
But I think people don't realize that these things are doing what we're identifying. We're creating a label for these things. Like I literally do have a list of things that you do that you probably don't even realize that centers you, whether it's yoga, walking in the woods, you're drawing, playing with your friend's dog, or even I had wrote down, especially for us, where and my sister does this too, where you put on a really comforting, familiar TV show like Friends or Star Trek, or my sister watches the Gilmore Girls over and over and over. And it's not that
Mhm.
you're paying attention to it, but it's on in the background and it's comforting.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with the TV show. I agree that we sometimes when Gregor and I we get home, well, now I'm always home, okay, whatever. In the evening when we stop working, we would put on what we call a light TV show
Yes.
that can run in the background but also distract us, because we need, in the beginning, we need distraction from our own thoughts and our own feelings, because otherwise we would dwell on the day has been so stressful, the people have been crazy, and we need to get out of that.
Out of that.
So we put
Yes.
on, yeah. So we put on a light TV show. Yes. Yes. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, basically.
But I also think I love that you shared the video game play at the last video, because sometimes I will just zone out with a video game and like an hour will pass and I don't realize it. But it
Yeah.
had been helpful. Like sometimes
Yeah.
people will bash video games, or it's mindless, waste of time. And I'm like, I kind of see both ways.
I see. I mean, I remember the first time I played The Sims.
Yeah. Yes.
It was the first time that usually I had my, the little Game Boy, and I was, but this was a real, like, where you attached your TV to it, connected your TV or whatever. And I played The Sims, and suddenly I blinked and the whole day was gone. And I said, okay, this is never gonna happen to me ever again, because I just lost the day. It was just lost. But The Sims, to me, it was a highly complicated game. I think it can be entertaining, but going back, for example, to Animal Crossing, which I showed, in the end, this is pure creativity.
Yeah.
I mean, you can choose to just go about your daily chores and talk to your villagers, but you can be so super creative. And then let's be honest, we can design interior and exterior. Where else would you be able to find out if you even can do that if you're not going to university for that?
Right.
How will you find out? So I don't think this is a waste of time. This is a way of creativity.
I love that.
And it always shows you, you have your little timer, so you can always see what time it is and not lose track of time.
Right. I love the design element of that. I love scrolling through all of the options and like figuring out what coordinates with the kitchen, what coordinates with the living room, what lamp I'm going to use. Like, love all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess I forgot until your video that it's under the creativity umbrella. I forgot. I didn't connect. I mean, I guess I knew that, but I didn't really connect that.
Yeah.
I love that.
To me, it absolutely is, because I have to be, if I'm off work for a long time, at first I will try to relax, watch some TV shows, maybe reread a book I already read 10 times. It takes some time. And then when I'm on the edge of getting bored, that's where the creativity comes in. And then I can sit down and I do my paintings, my drawings, my whatever. And so when I work my 8 to 9 hour job, oftentimes I lack creativity in the evening. So this is why I sometimes forget about the game and just do some fishing, just to,
Yes.
do something.
Yes.
But I cannot be creative, even if some villager comes and says, please design a little vacation home. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I want to do that design, they don't come back.
Right.
They're
Right.
gone.
I love that you mentioned though, like how you feel at the end of a 8 to 9 hour day and whether or not you feel creative or not. I think people mistake my job for being creative. People think that I'm creative all day long. And while it's maybe considered creative. Honestly, at this point, it's the same.
You've done it all.
There's not a lot of, it's not really challenging. There's nothing new. There's never a new, nobody's ever going to reinvent a haircut. Every haircut that has ever existed and will be existing has already been done by someone. There's not a new haircut. What am I going to do? Shave someone's head? Guess what? It's been done, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
So it's not as, it doesn't tick that creativity box for me. And so it's funny how I will try to find new resources to be creative outside of my job. And people are like, why? You're so creative at work. And I'm like, meh. Not really.
I mean, we joke about my job being creative because I don't think there's an English word for the degree I hold, but I'm something like a certified accountant.
Yeah.
And we call this creative bookkeeping.
We would say either like maybe CPA or.
Yeah, I think that's the right word. Yeah. Yeah.
But we
Or
also
abbreviation.
we also have bookkeeper, but that's kind of an old, like when you think of a bookkeeper, you think of someone just keeping books for a small or private company, but now it's all under the umbrella of accountant or CPA.
Yeah. Right. But still we call this creative bookkeeping because sometimes you have to be creative. Not gonna say why.
I couldn't imagine keeping everything organized and mapped out in a very specific charting way that I believe bookkeeping is. It's very factual. It has to fit in the line. It has to fit in this way. It has to fit in that way. Yeah, that's, I wouldn't consider that creative.
Oh, you can be.
Okay. So I have, of course, some questions. Just because I want to just wrap up Wellness Month, and I don't think that you and I have had a chance to really talk about, because our channel is for women over 40. I guess I just want to visit for a minute how your wellness idea from you as 10 years old has changed for you now over 40. And I just want us to compare for just a couple of minutes your childhood wellness ideas, what you thought about what it was versus now.
I have an amazing answer. So when I was 10 and going on to my 11th birthday, my mom asked me what I wanted to do on my birthday. It was a normal school day. Well, not normal, it was already in the summer, so we were close to the summer vacation. And I said, I want to order a pizza and eat it by myself, completely alone in my room. And guess what? Wellness is today. Eating pizza alone by myself.
I completely get that. I completely get that. I love it.
That was my birthday wish then. And 30 years later, it's still the same. But also, I mean, I know what you mean. There's more to that, of course, than eating pizza in your room. But I was very accustomed to travel, at least in the summer, but maybe more, with my parents to the beach. Because my father, back in the day, did windsurfing. And we always had to be at the beach so he could surf.
Yeah.
And so this was always feeling the sand in parts where you don't expect to have sand. Smelling the ocean. But this was always wellness. And I mean, we talked about this, the last video, the last live, where we also said that beaches are the go-to medicine. And we had a dog back then. So I had all my wellness tools with me. I had people that I loved and that loved me. I had the beach and I had a dog. Wellness tools.
I love that.
Yeah.
I did not have any of that growing up. My wellness is very different from our childhood. We did not get to the beach. I went to the beach one time for 10 minutes when I believe I was maybe 11 or 12. We really didn't have enough money to go on vacations. I remember the very first time Mom had enough money to take us to Disney World in Florida, and it was a stretch. Like, it was not easy for her to do. And I remember we were in Tampa, and I think we were driving back to the airport, and Mom took a quick detour for us to just see a actual beach. I remember it was the very first time I saw the ocean, and we took our shoes off. Heather and I took our shoes off, and we went running out into the sand. And I remember the particular beach had a very shelly sand, and it was very painful. It was not a soft sand beach. It was painful. It was hard. And so we didn't enjoy that. And then we put our feet in the water, and then Mom was like, we got to get to the airport. Let's go. So Heather and I picked up a few seashells, and that was it. Like, literally, that was it. And so I felt very landlocked as a child because of financial reasons and just logistics. And I truly believe that traveling can be very educational. Traveling can open your mind. Traveling opens your heart to new experiences and new people. Traveling opens your wellness umbrella even wider for healing. And I did not have that as a child. So
I mean, we have to talk about also where we grew up, because you grew up in one of the largest, if not the largest country in the world. And I grew up in Europe, in Germany, which is centered in the middle of Europe. So traveling for me is super easy. I can Germany has beaches, but I can also get to Denmark, to the Netherlands, to France, where we all have been in the summer. And for us, that's easier. We get in the car and we drive 4 hours and we are at the beach. So even if you don't have a lot of money, you probably still have a car, so you still can go, even if it's only a day trip. So I think that's also a difference. You being in the middle or almost in the middle of a vast country, where would you go?
I have actually looked.
You drive 10 hours and you're still in the same country.
Damn it. So I actually have very recently, probably 4 months ago, I was feeling so blue and desperate to just feel the sun and ocean. And I was on my iPad on the Google Maps, like trying to figure out the absolute shortest drive, because I was just going to get in my car. The absolute shortest drive to any kind of ocean is still like 8 hours.
Okay, sorry, I said 10. I'm sorry. Okay.
Because Florida's 10. No, you were accurate. Florida is 10. I could probably get to the coast of maybe North Carolina with an 8, but that's a desperate 8. That's with perfect traffic. I could get to the top of Florida Panhandle at 10, but deep into Florida at 12, and the Florida Keys at 14. I mean, it's just a miserable. I really do feel very landlocked, and it really affects me, because I think you and I have identified how much I'm such a sun lover.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything to anybody, but I get my energy from the sun. I get nourished from the sound of the water. I get such good feelings of that salt water. I don't know. It just feels good.
You live far away from that. Why?
I'm stuck. I'm stuck now.
Maybe we should move to Spain or something. I don't know.
I'm stuck now though, because my job has my career has a lot of really good perks. You know, I work really hard, I can make really good money, and I can take time off of my choosing. But I can never relocate.
Yeah.
Relocating is a death sentence to my career. If I move to Spain, which trust me, I've thought about millions of times, no one knows me. Nobody gives a shit how great I may be.
Yeah.
I
get it.
I get one customer. I can't make a living off one. It would take me probably 5, and then there's a language barrier. It would take me 5 years to get back to the financial income that I have.
Yeah, I get it.
That's miserable.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, well, that was fun.
Some tools for wellness.
All right, what else is on my list? All right, we talked about the change between our wellness journey from 10 years old to 40. Oh, you know what I really wanted to ask you? Because you had mentioned early on in the month that people will say, but you don't look sick. And I was left with, okay, well, wait, back up. What do you say? How do you respond when somebody makes those comments? Can you help me out? Because like I've told my husband a million times, I would have rather have broken my leg. I would have rather have broken my leg so that somebody could see, oh, Holly's in bed because her leg is broken, not in bed because of Epstein-Barr. So what do you respond? How do you deal with, but you don't look sick?
I have no perfect response. It is, it depends on the mood I'm in.
Yes.
It depends. It depends also on the person. It depends on the tone of voice they used.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell they are just curious or they are just mean. And it depends on my mood. So I have no like go-to answer. This is what you say, and then you're good to go. It is difficult because sometimes I would go into it and try to educate about my illness. But as it is an illness people haven't heard about, or they call it like, oh, now it's a trending disease. Yeah, thanks. They think that I'm trying to be trending or something. So I try to educate, but I can tell pretty quickly if they are listening, if they are curious. So I might just smack them down with, you can never tell what is going on inside a person. You don't know. They could be mentally ill. They could have an autoimmune disease, which are plenty. So I might smack them down like that. And then I will change the topic. It's none of their business. I don't think that they don't want you to be sick, because then they would have to deal with, they don't know how to. It's one of your friends mentioned, like you're asking, hey, how you're doing? And you're expected to say, fine. It's the same thing. They say you don't look sick, and then that's it. They don't want to hear that you put on a lot of makeup to look healthy. If I leave the makeup, I look sick.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And then when I don't put on makeup, people are like, oh my God, are you okay? You look really bad. And I was like, this is how I look.
Yes. Yeah. You know, and I had a couple of really terrible days a few weeks ago during our wellness month, and I was this close to just turning on that camera and showing the worst part of me. I was really contemplating. I hadn't gotten out of bed. I hadn't showered in days and days and days. and just trying to get myself together, because sometimes if you look better, you feel better. Not always,
Yeah.
but at least I can negotiate within myself what's about to happen, what my appearance is about to be, and so I better shape up. And I have the strength. Not everybody does. I've had friends in my life deal with a lot of, autoimmune disorders and stuff, and they're fine staying in bed. They're absolutely okay not participating in life. I'm not going down that easy. That's not who I am. And I think it's so individual on how you deal with chronic illness.
Yeah. I just recently read, I think it was just a headline or something. I didn't want to go into it because it was an article written by a man about period cramps. So I cannot read that. But the headline was, period pain is also a reason for a sick day. And I thought, I have never stayed home on my period. I take my painkillers. Just 2 weeks ago, I forgot to take my painkillers and went to the yoga lesson. It was a bad lesson. I was in so much pain at some point. I thought I cannot get up.
Right.
And my yoga teacher was like, "Are you okay?" And I just pointed, to my lower belly. She was like, "It's okay, I get it." Why would I forget the painkillers? But still, I don't stay home. It's.
I think it makes very much sense that article was written by a man.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably all the advertisements, for tampons and all that, where the people are always like, "Yeah, we can do everything," written by men.
Well,
Pretty sure.
right, that is true. But I think that men, in my experience, have a lower threshold of pain, but
Absolutely.
society would teach us otherwise. Society uses words like strong when describing men, tough when describing men, resilient in describing men, and they don't use those words much to describe women. And so we're conditioned to believe that men have a high threshold of pain, high threshold of tolerance, and high motivation. And I actually think it is the opposite.
Have you seen these videos where men are tied to this device where they
Yes.
can feel like period pain or something?
Yes.
And they break down immediately, and the woman is standing next to him like, "What is happening? I'm only at a 2."
Yes. I think it's called a TENS unit.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
And then they
Yeah.
put the little pads on either side of their abdominal muscles, and then they have the little, yes, and they'll get to it too, and it breaks the man. And I wish more men would challenge themselves to experience a day in a life.
Yeah. We have to talk about a very cute comment we got from my husband.
He is so cute.
Yeah. He says you're both very strong. I can testify to that. And we love you.
Oh, I know. I think both of our men, and you and I've talked about, our men are very aware and a little bit more sensitive. And I think that could be just the level of love. I'm so privileged now, finally, to have someone to love me at the level that I wanted to be loved in the past with relationships. And so with that level of love comes a sensitivity. I think he is more sensitive if I'm having a bad day, or if I feel bad, or if I'm just mustering through. He can see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty good at hiding.
Me too.
I think I even shocked Gregor at one point because I had to talk about how bad the illness had gotten, so that I would have to go to the hospital, might have come out of the blue for him. I might have said, yeah, I have some pain and something feels wrong, but I think the first time he probably realized it was when I was in so much pain that he had to take off my pants because I couldn't move.
Yes.
And I feel a little bit sorry that I wasn't easing him in, but it was just like, here it is, and it's worth it.
Because women stay strong for so long until all of a sudden it just goes tip. Yeah. So my husband complains about me coming out of nowhere with problems, because we do hold it. And I'm looking through my iPad right now because I wanted to share with you and everybody else, if I can find it quickly. I think I actually just deleted it. I printed out a scale for my husband to understand my pain threshold for each day. Here it is.
Oh, wow.
But it's very descriptive. And so I printed out 2 copies. I printed out one for him and one for me. So he has one in his office, which is right over there. And each day I wake up and I text him where I am. Now, that could change during the day, but at least he has an idea of what is happening to me and how he can help where I am in that day. Because I think it's you and I have a hard time articulating the words of what level of distress we're in each day. And so something like this is very, very helpful because it articulates, I'm at this level of pain, this level of function. And so maybe that will help guide the husbands to handle us. I don't know.
It's a good idea. Definitely.
I think it's helpful because Paul does say exactly what your husband says, is that I hide it. I have a stiff upper lip. Do you all say that phrase?
Mm-hmm.
A stiff upper lip, meaning like you're holding it back, you're holding it in, you're trying not to cry, you're trying not to break down, you're keeping your lips stiff so that you can like muster it together, like if you're holding back the tears. I walk around with that because my clients are paying good money and they deserve me like this.
Yep.
And if that's fake, then that's fake. And Paul always is like, I don't know who you are, because like you come home and you've expelled all of this energy during the day with this giant smile on your face. And then you come home and completely crash. And it's like, do you know Jekyll and Hyde?
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
I was thinking about spoons. You know, the spoony life. Have you never heard of that? That is, I think, often used by people with chronic fatigue. They say they have a certain amount of spoons of energy per day.
Yes, I have heard
and you
that.
have used up your spoons in your job, and then you come home and there are no spoons left.
Yes. We
I had a hard time understanding that concept in the beginning. I said, I don't understand the spoons. And I only recently understood, where I woke up one morning and I was full of energy. And I was like, oh, I have to get up immediately, go outside, do the garden, do this, do that. And I didn't sit down because I was like, I still have that energy. What else do I need to do now? And it was like, I had very many spoons that day. I used them up around noon.
Right.
But I had done so many chores that I haven't had done the whole week. And I was like, that's a good day. You had a lot of spoons. And this is when I first really understood the spoon theory.
I think we call it like a pouring from a full cup or pouring from an empty cup. And but I worry sometimes because when I am laying in bed each day, if I'm having a bad week and I have 3 days in bed, the guilt of the house chores loom over me. Then on that one morning, just like you, on that one morning I'm like,
quick, get to the kitchen, clean the dishes, clean the floor, go to the grocery, quick.
and then I crash almost harder. Like my baseline, it dips lower because I'm almost panicking to try to live. And I don't know. I've been reading a lot about a term called pacing
Okay.
in regard to chronic fatigue syndrome,
Yeah.
where they say don't use all your spoons. Reserve one and allow it to build up over time. You still have to have one. It's like that penny saved. You've got to have one penny saved each day at the end of the day if you want to accumulate more pennies. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I get it. But as you said, you have you have the chores on your mind, and they have to go. And for me, if I'm unable for days on end to do them, my heart rate would go up. And I
Yeah.
hate this feeling. I would be lying in bed because my body is completely exhausted and so heavy, I'm almost unable to move. But my heart will try to get out of my chest. It will beat like this. And it will try to move me, not maybe not even doing the chores, but just living, because what I do then is not living. And it is like my body and my mind are out of sync. And I have to calm down, try to meditate and accept the situation as is, because I will not be able to do these fucking chores. And I have to accept that it is okay to just lie here and get better. But my heart drives me crazy.
Right.
It is like my heart is pulling it. I hate that. I hate
I
that.
have to decide to give myself permission to heal. And if I say, and that's the difference between saying I'm being lazy or I am healing.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to get up and clean the kitchen. It's that I need to heal. My body is telling me I need to heal today.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I get trapped into is on the day that I do wake up feeling pretty good, all I do is work. And then the cycle is bed, work, bed, work, bed, work. And finally, just yesterday, I got off work early, Paul got off work, and I was like, will you take me outside of this house? Can we get into the car? Can we go to Target? Can I buy mascara? Like, what is it that we can do right now to have some fun? Like, buying mascara is just fun for me. But I had to make such an effort because I told him, because he was like, oh, I want to play this new video game. And I'm like, well, I guess I could just clean the kitchen. And then I was like, no, I don't want to just clean the kitchen on my time off that I feel good.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
So the kitchen
I mean,
did
I
not
like that
clean.
too, because sometimes, not very often, but sometimes we would do things after work. And I really like that, driving around, doing some shopping or whatever. I really appreciate the times I can do that.
Mhm. I don't think we do that enough. I don't have a lot of fun in my life right now because either I'm creating income, which is desperately important, or I'm healing. And there's not a lot of fun in either one of those. Not a
Yeah,
lot.
I get it. I get it.
But that's where
Well, I
then
had the luck that while I was healing from the 2 surgeries, I got to share an office with amazing colleagues. So I was looking forward to going to work at that time, not liking the work, but the colleagues. And they helped me. And that was good that I was getting out of the house, meeting them, chatting with them, and just having a good time at work. But I'm no longer at that company. Now I don't meet anybody because I work from home.
Right. Right.
Um,
You have to make more
but
of an
this is
effort.
more relaxing, to be honest. I mean, I have a very stressful job, but I don't have to get in the car, drive for 30 or 40 minutes. You know, I sleep in, I go to my little office
Yeah.
and I sit down and I can go downstairs to the kitchen and make some lunch. And you know, this for me also is healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that Paul and I even talked about the pandemic has allowed for us to have a slower paced life in a forgiving way, for you to
Yeah.
for you to recognize this is okay existence and this is how I'm healing and nurturing myself. That is a one of the outcomes, I guess, of
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'm seeing that we only have about 10 minutes left.
Oh my God, where did the time go?
I know exactly where the time went, but I will answer that question in just a second. Should we announce next month's topic? Okay, you do it.
I wish I wore the t-shirt. Oh
I
man.
forgot about the t-shirt. It was so fun.
No. So this makes no sense now.
Okay, announce it. You announce it.
Okay, Friends, but not the TV show.
Not the TV show. All
No.
next month, we should be talking about friendship and all the different layers of the different friendships that we have in our lives, what friendship means to us, how do we cultivate new friendships, how do we strengthen old friendships, how do we handle long distance friendships. And that's why we only have 10 minutes left, because we just run our mouths because we're friends.
And we have this long distance issue.
We do. So
Yeah.
I do think we need to make a dedicated couple of videos about the challenges of long distance friendships and how we work that out.
And how we miss each other all the time.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know, when are we going to do the Mexication?
When? I don't know when. I don't know.
I'm so afraid that like we'll get somewhere and then like we'll both crash. But crashing on the beach would be fine together, I guess. I don't know. Does misery love company?
But can you imagine, like we both say, oh, we're having a bad day, but still you put on a bathing suit, you put on sunscreen, you go to the beach. Where's the issue?
Where is the issue?
Right? And in the evening, you will have relaxed and healed, so we can go to dinner and maybe have some cocktails, maybe non-alcoholic, because alcohol and, you know.
I have not been able to drink, one sip of bourbon and I'm in bed. Like I'm down for the count, but
Yeah.
it's getting better. But I'm excited about our next month, and
Yeah, me too.
I think it'll be fun. I've already been writing down a whole list of ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and
Me too.
I've already made the announcement video. So after, I'm going to post this one first, this recording of us wrapping up our wellness month, and then I already have a intro announcement video for our friendship topic. So I'm ready.
I'm going to start filming tomorrow. I have mapped out the topics I want to talk about. And we discussed one topic, making friends at work.
Yes.
Maybe I have something about that.
I don't think it would be a bad idea if you wanted to, because I know that you had mentioned, oh, I don't have many, English speaking friends. I don't care. Like if you wanted to do a whole video with a good friend and it happens to be in German, that's great. Like,
They don't want to be in front of the camera.
can you pay them?
I was thinking of one in particular. She wouldn't take my money. I have tried time and time again to give her money for something else. She will not take my money.
You know what you need to do? You need to bake that wine cake for them. Bribe them with food.
Yeah, well, they know the wine cake.
Make it for them.
Definitely. And then we hang out, and then I just film us hanging out.
Put the camera just like over there.
Oh my God, I shouldn't have said that, because next Friday they will be here, and then they will look around like, where's the camera? Where's the camera?
You can text them, hey, before you come over, will you put some lipstick on? Like, like look, like get yourself together before you come over. Like,
I have an even better idea. I say, hey, it's girls' night. I'm gonna do your makeup.
that is so much fun.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Can I come over and you do my makeup?
of course. Come here. You
Yeah,
always have a bed here.
that's more than an 8-hour drive.
Yeah, and more than a 10-minute walk.
All right, well, let's let everybody go before this is crazy long. And did we get everything that we wanted to say in?
Probably not. I was running my mouth. I don't know. I remember one friend, she commented on the last one. She was like, you have to talk more. And I was like, okay. Now I try to talk more.
You did great. I had all of my list is done. We hit every single thing that I wanted to talk about.
Perfect.
Absolutely everything, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
See, a very organized accountant mapping out.
Yours wouldn't
Very
look like this though. This is like chicken scratch. This is like messy and terrible. You would have had a chart. All right, I've got to run to work. It's beautiful to see you, my friend. And I'm excited about next month. All right.
So take care and have a nice day.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Bye.